Go.
Well, welcome everyone to Ashland, Nebraska, as this afternoon the Louisville Lions and the Ashland-Greenwood Blue Jays girls basketball programs, they're looking to create some traction to this season. The Blue Jays want to get their first win after an 0-2 start, while the Lions, sitting at 1-2, are wanting to build some momentum on this very young season. It promises to be a good one. And hello, everyone. I'm Tim Washburn, a skeleton crew today, as my basketball partner, who wears the mantle of being an All-American tight end at Hastings College and also owns a state championship as a member of the Beatrice Bruins basketball squad a few years back, Jordan Wallman. Jordan, people don't know how talented you are, but they're going to find out today because you're going to do color commentating, you're going to run our technicals, and you're going to run our video today. I mean, is there anything you can't do?
Yeah, I'm not great at parallel parking. Cooking's definitely not a strength. So I have my many faults. But, yeah, no, so our camera also has a little part loose, so it's a little wobbly right now. So I appreciate you letting everyone know that I'm in charge of that today.
Well, glad to hear the cookies you struggle with a little bit. You're human.
Yeah. Not to jump into weird stuff early, but I just kind of eat for the sake of eating. I'm not big into good tasting food, so
there you go.
It is what it is.
Well, you know what? Here's a couple teams that are looking to continue to get better. And for the Blue Jays, Jordan Wallman, this is a team that has not gotten off the snide yet. They're 0-2. But man alive, did they really look good from game 1 to game 2 in that matchup against Wahoo, who was top 10 rated. The Blue Jays dropped a 7-point decision, but they really came a long way. So talk to us a little bit about the improvement of this girls squad in the last week.
Yeah, so Coach Hubert's second year. Coach Hubert's super intentional about his culture and getting the girls in the gym working. And, year 2 in general is sometimes a year that you want to see growth, but it takes time. But I think another thing to remember with Hubert is that he spent his entire first season without his best ball handler, most skilled player, J.C. Fangmeyer. Obviously so excited for the team that he brings back this year, and then he loses one of probably Olivia will be a college basketball player, but he loses Olivia. So in their efforts to find identity as a team, they're also having to kind of take a step back and look at finding their individual identity after these different players have gone down. So huge steps. They're tough. They're physical. They're athletic. I mean, Wahoo is about as athletic and tough of a team as I've seen, and the Blue Jays definitely held their own within them and played a great game.
Yeah, and Jordan, of course, referring to Olivia Pike, the talented junior who the good news is the Blue Jays will be getting her back at some point this year. Emma Keith has been beat up, but she's playing through an injury, and, of course, they lost one of their starters before the season ever began, or one of their players that would have played a lot. And so, Jordan, it's already tough enough to come in and get things going in the start of the season. Then you're dealing with some challenges of injuries. So you have sat on that pine as a basketball coach. So what is that like on top of everything else?
It stinks because, while you're excited about your program in its entirety, you have a plan. And while it's possible to move your way down that bench and get different kids to step into different roles, that's what we do as coaches. We plan, we come up with these things. Even as I look to my golf season, I'm already envisioning these different things and coming up with these plans and getting really excited about it. And you lose someone who's worked so hard. Olivia worked all fall. She worked in the off season. She did vertical programs. She's 5'10". She's strong. She's skilled. And so that's a huge piece to try to fill in. So it's going to take time. And the issue is that they opened up with 2 really good programs. Arlington traditionally is a strong girls program, and then we know what Wahoo is. So that stinks. And part of coaching is adapting and overcoming. But I know that from what conversations I've had with Coach Hubert, he's got really high expectations, and he's not going to let those drop.
Without a doubt, he does, and he's excited about tonight's contest. But you had a chance to see a little bit of Louisville. You went in to do some scouting on the boys' side, and you caught the Conestoga-Louisville girls game as well, or at least a part of it. What impressions did you come away with after that game?
Yeah, like I said, Louisville traditionally has a great team, has a great culture. In the past, they've been long. They played full court. They played fast. And maybe that length isn't quite there this year, a little bit younger, but Louisville definitely has some girls that know how to play the game, and that's a product of culture. So, Tim, you have the stats in front of you. I have an Arlington program in my hand, so I better get rid of that.
Let's get to the most recent one. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. So, the girl I still got the most is number 3. I mean, you're gonna have to help me with that.
Yeah, it's Aberg. Yep.
Okay, so Aberg.
Yes.
She was good. She was good during volleyball season. She handles the ball pretty well for him. Yeah, and we only caught the fourth quarter of that game. We were a little bit early coming into the boys' game that we were scouting, but they got the job done against Conestoga that night. And just overall, it's going to be a good matchup.
It is going to be a really fine matchup here for both of these squads. They're both looking, as we said, to get into that right channel, that right way for the season. As again, the Blue Jays at 0-2 and Louisville at 1-2. So a nice early season matchup for these two teams as they're looking to, as they say, get right to get this season really rocking and rolling here in early December. And so I believe we've got now the national anthem that we're going to be pausing and standing for here in just a moment as Dustin Dieterding, the athletic director here at Ashland-Greenwood, is taking us right into that. So let's pause now for the playing of the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand and remove headgear for the playing of our national anthem.
All right, time now to take a look at those starting lineups. We're going to start here with the Lions. And you heard Jordan mention her already, a senior, Ella Aberg. She's averaging just under 9 points a game, and boy, can she shoot. We're going to be keeping an eye on her today, and I know she has got the attention of Coach Dave Hubert. Also in the backcourt is Sagan Leach. She's a 5'6 senior, averaging just over a couple of points a game. Ellen Culver, a junior at 5'5". She's the third starter, and Mira Fosmer, who is a 5'7 senior. She is averaging just over 4 points and shoots 25% from the three, so you know she'll be shooting some as well today. And McKenna McCauley, the 5'7 senior, averaging just under a point a game, but boy, she plays some D and hits the boards hard for the Louisville Lions. And now for Ashland-Greenwood and Dave Hubert's squad, it'll be J.C. Fangmeyer, a 5'7 sophomore. She'll be bringing the ball up, as well as Paige Comstock, two excellent guards. She's a 5'6 junior. And Jana Laughlin getting her first start of the season, a 5'6 junior. She'll really form a three-guard lineup. And then Lauren Gertis, the 5'8 junior. She can really jump, state high jump champion. And she gets after it on the boards. And Bree Schefter, the 5'9 junior. She will round it out. Bree averaging just under 8 points a game, the leading scorer for the Blue Jays. And so the officiating crew tonight is Craig Lovett, Mike Peitzmeyer, and Terry Anzaldo. And the Blue Jays here will work in front of us here on the camera from right to left as the crowd settles in here on this early December contest between Ashland-Greenwood and the Louisville Lions. And Peitzmeyer is going to throw it in the air, and the Blue Jays come away with it. And they'll have first possession and see what they can get going here offensively. Schefter, they get it reversed quickly down in the left corner. Comstock surveys the court. Or you can see Peitzmeyer make that, Fangmeyer wanted to put that shot up, but she held on to it. Man-to-man D here, or we got a little zone going for Louisville. As the Blue Jays being very patient on this opening possession. Fangmeyer gets it out here quickly. Good ball movement by the Big Blue. And here's a Fangmeyer shot up and good. She knocks it home, and the Blue Jays up 3-0.
Love that. Very patient, just like you said, Tim. JC, great shooter, great ball handler for Blue Jays. Good to see her get going this year.
Really good to see. And she had a very good night against Wahoo. And so here comes Louisville. They try a little pick and roll, but great hands by Schefter in the paint. And there's a tie-up, and it will be Louisville ball.
Yeah, you know, JC kind of had a slow start to the year from our perspective because we know how skilled she is and the level of play she takes in the summer. But I know Dave was pretty excited to watch her kind of get going.
They get the ball inbounded. Blue Jays with that early lead here, just underway. And now they get a pass down. Here is Aberg, and she misses, and the rebound fought for and tracked down there by Gertis. She will not be deterred, though, Aberg. She'll put up some shots. She's got a lot of confidence, good shooter. Blue Jays trying to increase this lead here early on as Gertis looks over that defense of the Lions. Blue Jays 0-2, searching for win one. There's a ball fake for Laughlin. One of the things that Coach Hubert thought today, they were going to post up Gertis, and then an errant pass inside is going to be taken away by the Lions, and then there's a travel. Or no, they're going to call a hand check on Laughlin on the way up. And that will be the first foul of the game. So the Lions come across midcourt. They're going to try to get on the scoreboard here. Nearly 2 minutes in. They've just been able to get one shot up. And here's a left baseline drive. They kick it out, reverse it quickly. With it, here is Leach. Leach gets a pick and roll, tries that, but ball tipped away, and they're going to say off of one of the Blue Jays.
You know, a high point ball goes up. Who better to chase that thing down than state high jump champion Lauren Gertis? Knocks that thing out, defends the pick and roll well.
Hard to get it over her as they run this box set on the inbounds. And now we got a travel. And that was tough defense. Give Schefter credit. I think she was hounding Fosmer so much as she helped create that turnover.
And that's a huge advantage what the Blue Jays are going to have over some other teams. It's just the amount of athletic girls that we have. And Bree's a great example of that. Great softball player, very strong, good player.
Gertis, she took a couple of extra steps. And again, credit that Lions defense. They double teamed her. When they did, Jordan, she just drug that left foot a little bit.
Yep, and the Blue Jays are going to bring a little pressure here coming out in the press.
Here come the Lions. They trap right away in that backcourt. Hubert felt like he could have some success doing that. They break it the first time they run it. Abert, 3-ball off the back of the rim. Rebound, fought forward, and it comes down to McCauley. And then she double dribbles, and so the turnover will give the Blue Jays the ball up 3-0.
Yeah, you know, Blue Jays doing a good job right now. They're hounding. They're making life uncomfortable. I think offensively they'd like to get a couple shots off and have some of those situations back. But I love the Blue Jays' kind of mentality and their overall approach to this game right now.
They're doing a good job moving the ball around. They got a great open look for Fangmeyer earlier. Oh, here was another one, but she chose not to take it. And, boy, they want her to take that shot. I heard the assistant coach for the Blue Jays stand up and say, you got to shoot that. But she'll take advantage of the next one here as the Blue Jays get it down on a block to Gertis. She's doubled, kicks it out. There's Fangmeyer. Her shot blocked that time, but tracks it down. And a skip pass over to Laughlin. You know she wants to turn around and look at that coaching staff and say, see? I knew what I was doing, Coach.
I like the second shot. I like the second three opportunity a lot better off the kick out.
Here is a shot put up by Gertis. She's knocked to the floor. They're going to say it was before the shot, though. So the Blue Jays will take it out underneath their own bucket.
We're going to see Presley Harms here sub in, but early on they're really trying to get Gertis in on the inside. We know how tough and athletic she is. She's only getting better and better at basketball. I don't know, you just kind of maybe see kind of a little game plan for him from the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Harms by far the tallest Blue Jay in there, and they're going to run 4 across on this inbounds. And by the way, they called that foul on Whaley Bateman. They get it into Harms. Harms, turnaround Jay, and she got it over the rim. It's 5-0.
And one of the biggest things Presley does is when she elevates and kind of shoots that little jump shot, there's not many girls in the state that are going to be able to contest her. She's 6 foot, jumps really well, track star, volleyball player, really good player.
And now Louisville steps out of bounds. The Blue Jays again had a double team. right in front of the Ashland-Greenwood sideline. And so they stepped out of bounds. It'll be Blue Jay ball. 5-0 up early. Here's Keith in the paint. And they'll work off that left side. Gertis is going to give Fangmeyer a pick, and then JC has it tipped away. They track it down to Keith. Fangmeyer being patient, looking for that right opportunity. Here comes another pick. Keith, there's the pick and roll. Back to Gertis, high off the glass, and it's 7-0.
Love that pick and roll action there. Gertis so athletic. Two really strong girls going at that with the pick and roll, and Keith and Gertis. Good action turns into a layup.
Culver takes it all the way against that pressure, and then she traveled. She's helped up there by Fangmeyer. Did a good job bringing it up, but boy, she ran into a double team as she got down at the block, and again, just took a couple of extra steps, and a timeout now by Coach Shelsta. He wants to talk it over with his team trailing 7-0 with 3:22 to go first quarter.
Yeah, and I think, if you're Louisville right now, you're not super happy with how a lot of these possessions have ended up in travels or double dribbles, things like that. But that's what the Blue Jays are going to excel in. They're going to be a very physical, very athletic team. Maybe not the most skilled team you'll see all season, but, very, very high-level athletes on the Blue Jays side, which can lead to a lot of pressure on defense.
And, one of the challenges that Coach Shelsta is going to face today, the Blue Jays already administering some pressure. And I was talking with Sagan Leach before the game, one of the starters for Louisville, and she said, we're down to, to 10 players right now. They're really working, and Coach Shelsta is doing a great job. He will build this program up. He comes from basketball royalty, of course, his father, Terry Shelsta. And so he will build this program up. But right now, when you're hurting on bodies and pressure is applied, that can take its toll. So let's see how the legs hold up here in the third and fourth quarter. As the Blue Jays will get in the paint, we have a whistle and a push-off, I think, on Schefter. And it was.
Yeah, that's kind of that physical nature there. The Blue Jays are strong. They're big, strong girls, and there they kind of get pinged for a foul.
And Schefter gets after it. I like it. Here's a steal on the pressure. Presley Harms, double dribbled that time. They're going to call it for a travel. But she got tied up there with a Lion and ended up taking an extra step. 2:59 to go, first quarter. And Presley and Culver getting after it a little bit, that physicality that Jordan talked about. Harms doing a beautiful job, and then a great job by Schefter, who knocks it right back. And Aberg just alertly, what most athletes do, right? They're trained to catch the ball, and she caught it, but she was standing out of bounds.
Yeah, and she kind of laughed about it a little bit. Just first reaction is to catch that ball. The other thing to kind of remember, too, is that it's December basketball. One thing that I really learned coaching is that how much the skills actually improve as you work through December, January, February, and then hopefully into March. We're seeing some travels and some double dribbles here early, but that's December basketball.
And here's a steal by Culver, Jordan the other way, but there's Harms and her athleticism, who had the block, and now we have a whistle before we have a turnover. And part of the stage fell down. And Coach Shelsta saying, but wait a minute, we had the steal before you blew the whistle. So let's see who's going to keep this basketball. This is a tough one, Jordan.
Yeah, it's a good question. That's what let's let the fans tell the people what they think.
Yeah. And Coach Shelsta's out talking to, I believe he's talking to Terry Anzaldo. And saying, well, wait a minute. You blew the whistle. Our person was holding the basketball. And now Mike Peitzmeyer comes over and walks the coach through it as well. So Blue Jays up 7-0. They'll get the basketball here. And the Lions pull back, no pressure. And this will be Paige Comstock. Left-handed dribble, kicks it out. Here comes another pick. Louisville doing a good job as they are switching on those picks tonight. Comstock back out to Laughlin. 3-ball, just a bit much. Tipped around. Who comes down with a Schefter? She fell to the ground, but she was fouled. It will be the second team fouled on the Lions.
Love that action. We talked about JC's role this year, doing a lot of scoring for the Blue Jays, but I've also been really impressed with Paige Comstock. She had a huge opportunity to grow last year. She was really forced into a primary ball handler position, but now you can kind of see that growth come about as Paige goes into her junior season.
Exceptionally smart player, does great in school, and Comstock slaps that basketball, looks, gets it up to Fengmeyer at the top of the key. They're running it to Paige down in the left corner. Paige will get that pick. Blue Jays going to reverse it. Louisville's been tough defensively, so have the Big Blue. And here comes Harms for a long three. Misses it, but Gertis skies for the board. Gertis, such a tremendous athlete, and now here comes Laughlin in the paint. Kicks it to the left wing. Fengmeyer for a three, a bit too much, and there is Laughlin on the rebound. Two big offensive boards for the Big Blue here on this possession.
Product of those athletes. I mean, when you speak about athletic teams, the Blue Jays are at the top, wildly athletic.
And there's Laughlin. You talk about great athletes. She also excels in track. As Coach Hubert up barking to his squad. He wants them to get into a little bit of a different set. Now they go Gertis off the left elbow. She drives to the right side, and the ball was knocked out of bounds off of McCauley.
And it can be kind of annoying to hear us ramble about these themes, but you're dealing with three girls that qualified for state track. JC Fengmeyer doesn't run track, but she's a really good basketball player, and then Paige is a three-sport athlete.
And they get it in to Fengmeyer, who tried a little jump hook in the middle of the paint, and we got a whistle and a tie up. And possession arrow belongs to the Blue Jays. So this Blue Jay D, Jordan, has been awfully good. I mean, when you pitch a shutout here in the first quarter with 1:20 to go, you got to be pleased.
Yeah, and that's a huge focal point for Hubert. He recognizes his team, and Presley's going to go up. Not quite. Gertis rebound.
Nicely done as the Blue Jays got a great look into Harms. And Harms not able to knock it down, but they were patient and ran that little pick underneath Jordan and almost got an easy bucket.
Yeah, and Timmy, we kind of switched roles there for a second.
You did great.
You can have the steering wheel back.
He did great. As Fengmeyer is going to bump Louisville, and that's Sagan Leach on the way up, and so it will be a foul on the Big Blue. That's the third team foul. And on JC, I believe that's just her first. It is. 1:09 to go first quarter. Blue Jays are up 7-0. As the Lions will take it out right in front of the scorekeeper here, Dan Valley and company. And here's a left-handed dribble by Aber. Crosses to her right, gets it over on the right wing. And they're going to work it from there. There's a pick and roll that's going to go off the hands of the Lions, and the Blue Jays get the steal. Fengmeyer running. Goes to Comstock. And the Big Blue will be patient again. We're under 45 seconds to go here in this first quarter. The Blue has been so good defensively. And let's see if Coach Hubert, you think Jordan going to go for one here?
I'd say so. He's a conservative. He's an old school guy. That's the old school play. 29 seconds left.
Yep, with 29, they are going to hold it. He said walk it out. Left-handed dribble by Comstock. Dribbles back out. Very comfortable with that left hand is Paige. She'll work that left side as well. Dumps it off to Harms. We've got 12 seconds. Here's Fengmeyer. Goes to Keith. Keith trying that right baseline drive. Finds a wide open Schefter from the left. Nothing. And that was Gertis, but the putback by Harms misses at the buzzer. But a good look. The Blue Jays got two nice looks there as Keith drove that right baseline, found a wide open Gertis on the left side, and then the putback attempt by Harms. So the Blue Jays got some really good looks in this quarter. Defensively, though, Jordan, they were stellar.
Yeah, absolutely. Louisville obviously is trying to get into some of their stuff, but right now not only are the Blue Jays applying pressure, but they're also taking advantage of some trap situations, some opportunities to speed Louisville up, and they're stopping the pick and roll. So, Blue Jays have to be pretty happy with the defensive effort so far.
And this Blue Jay squad can shoot, and they're getting great looks. I know Coach Hubert's got to be happy with that. So, Jordan, it's just a matter of time, isn't it, before they start knocking down some of these really good looks they're getting?
Yeah, definitely. Even on, the boys' side of things, you and I have talked about, getting the shots that you want, like the other night versus Elkhorn. We didn't get them right away. But, you slowly start getting those opportunities, but then we're not making them. But, as you settle into the rhythm of the game and you take more of those shots, your percentages are going to start falling. So Blue Jays are getting kick-out threes. I love the opportunities that they're taking. They'll come around.
Yeah.
So.
And a big shout-out, by the way, to Suzanne Sapp and Kendra Craven. As you know, they do a lot of broadcasting for us. I think Suzanne went to watch the Huskers take on Purdue today.
Yeah, Dawson Teese had that game on over there. He said at one point it was 9-9, so Husker basketball obviously off to a hot start right now.
Yeah, and they get to play against the big 7-footer from Purdue. But we're underway here in the second quarter as a shot goes up by Sagan Leach, and she's fouled. So Louisville will try to get on the scoreboard here early in the second quarter. Let's see who they called this, and it might have been a chef door. Regardless, it is the 4th team foul. And here's the free throw by Leach. It's up and it's good. Jordan, did you ever see who they put up there? If they put it up, it was super quick.
I did not. I was trying to think who was guarding her, but I don't remember that either.
So Leach knocks down that first free throw, and here's her second, and it's good. It's a 7-2 ball game with 7:50 to go here in the half. And the Blue Jays are going to face pressure here, Jordan, for the first time tonight, full court. And they get it out to Keith. Keith, now they've got a 3-on-2 break. Fangmeyer will work the middle, goes hard to the hole, misses, put back, up and good by Schefter, and it's 9-2.
That's kind of culturally what Louisville does, full court pressure. The Blue Jays do a good job breaking it there and then getting that offensive board.
Boy, this Schefter is tough, isn't she?
Yeah, tough, really, really tough.
Tough physical player, brings a hard-nosed approach to this Blue Jay squad. Here's a dribble penetration they're going to kick out. Working it hard here is Yardley, and then it was thrown away. So the Blue Jays D just ramping up the pressure, Jordan.
Yeah, and it's just continual. Once again, don't want to hammer themes. I know that's a habit I get into up here sometimes, but physicality and pressure.
And there's a steal, though, in the backcourt as Aberg will dribble out. She's going to try that three, and she gets it. The best three-point shooter for the Lions. She connects. It's now 9-5. Blue Jays with numbers again, beating the pressure. Emma Keith goes up. She's fouled on the way, so she'll go to the line to shoot a couple. And the pace, Jordan, picking up just a little bit here with both teams.
Yeah, definitely. When I first got to Ashland, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, I just really remember that full court pressure. It was just relentless. And talking with then Coach Fangmeyer about what that meant for the Blue Jays and how that kind of changed the game plan. So I don't know, it kind of warms my heart a little bit to see a new coaching staff kind of revert back to some of those things that these girls maybe did in their youth, but it's definitely speeding the Blue Jays up.
Well, Emma Keith hits the front of those two shots, and she's doing it, of course, left-handed. I know we have chronicled it this year, but it's worth mentioning again as she misses the second, but an offensive board comes down to the Blue Jays, lost the handle, so Leach comes out of there with it, dumps it off, and the Lions are running. Here's Aberg. She says, I'm going to try this three again, and she's on fire. She knocks it home. It's 10-8.
She's definitely got a quick trigger. There's a reason why girls have a quick trigger. Number one, they have to have the confidence, and two, their coach has to put the trust in them. So she's definitely a good shooter.
Back the other way. Gertis gets a bucket. Nice work by the Blue Jays against that pressure. It's 12-8 now. Big Blue up. And running the other way come the Lions. This is Culver. Culver will dribble in, dribble out, looking for some help. Great job by Paige Comstock on the denial. And they were able to get the ball, and now they're going to whistle and a jump ball. And the Blue Jay boys basketball team, they are really letting their team know, their girls know that they appreciate that defensive effort.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked on the boys' side a lot. I'd kind of compare a Paige Comstock to a Drake Zimmerman. Athletic, tough, kind of coming off the bench in some point guard roles, but just really important on the defensive end.
Get it down to Gertis. Good play by the Big Blue. As posting up was Gertis down on the block. That's something that Coach Huber felt like the Blue Jays could do, Jordan, is they could post up on the block. They feel like Louisville's going to play behind them, and Gertis got the feed that time and knocks it home.
Yeah, and it really feels like the Blue Jays and Louisville are kind of getting into their rhythm right now. That what the press does is it speeds you up and you make mistakes, but if you can finish on the other end and break it, you're going to find a lot of success. And Blue Jays have been doing that on the other end. Louisville is starting to hit some big threes, really flying around, putting some points on the board. Held to 0 in the first quarter, and they've got 8, and we're not even 2 minutes into this thing right now. So pretty exciting game right now.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. And Coach Shelsta, he's up, and he is really enthusiastic, getting his team fired up to head back out here and take on this Blue Jay squad. Coach Hubert came into this game feeling good about the improvement that this Blue Jay squad had made from game 1 to game 2. And right now, his squad up 14-8. So the Blue Jays will administer pressure here after the conversation between Coach Shelsta and Mike Peitzmeyer. And here we go. We're underway. And here is Culver. Nearly had it pickpocketed from Fangmeyer from behind. Keith playing tough. Gets around Keith. Now they get it down the corner. Here's a 15-footer that's going to miss, and Gertis will rip it down. Great box out by Gertis.
Yeah, really physical player, Lauren Gertis is.
Here's the Fangmeyer. Blue Jays working against this man-to-man. They will be patient. That has been their MO all day as Comstock looks. Now there's Fangmeyer. She's going to try to get it down low to Gertis. This time they fronted Gertis, and they almost got paid for it, but it went out of bounds off of Louisville. But they switched it up a little bit, Jordan. Now they're going to front her.
Yeah, and during that timeout, the Louisville coaching staff, while Coach Shelsta took an opportunity to talk to the refs, it looks like the other coaches talked about post defense with their girls, and I think that was a good timeout from them.
Here's the inbounds to Harms. Harms working off the glass, short. And who will come out of there with it? It's going to be Louisville and McCauley. Long pass it goes. This is Bateman working against Harms. Of course, Coach Hubert running that man-to-man defense. Likes to do that. Here comes Yardley with a left baseline drive. Kicks it out to Leach. Look at this ball movement by the Lions. Leach thought about it. Pulls up 15-footer. And it's a little short, and then there's Harms.
Really like that possession from Louisville. A lot of drive, a lot of kick. Really multiple attack there.
Like to know how many rebounds Harms has tonight as Comstock gets in the paint. Now they get it over to Keith in the corner. Feels like she has really done a good job of cleaning up the boards. Blue Jays up 14-8. They're going to lob it in to Gertis. High off the glass, just a bit too much. And the rebound coming down to Aberg. Lions, left baseline drive. Here's an 11-footer that will knock home from McCauley.
Fast-paced game. Both teams are flying down the court, taking advantage of transition opportunities.
Page pulls up, open three. Not there. And the rebound coming down to Leach. Good look, though, from Comstock. Wide open shot.
I love the confidence there from Page.
Now they dump it off to Aberg. Aberg holds it. Skip pass. She really whipped it around there as the Blue Jay D trying to hold down the Lions here. It's a 14-10 lead. They get it inside. There's a loose ball, but it's kicked out. Great hustle inside by Yardley to keep it alive for the Lions. And here's a little pass to the corner. But they're going to reset everything, Jordan. Blue Jay D hounding. And will Paige Comstock get this steal? She does. And she'll dump it off to Keith. Crossover by Keith. Left-handed layup will not go. And there is Fangmeyer, who's fouled. She stayed with it. She'll go to the line to shoot two.
Offensive rebounds are a huge theme for the Blue Jays today. They're working like crazy to get on the glass and clean that thing up. You know, I would say one observation I've made as an Ashland fan is I'm really impressed with Emma Keith's left hand. She took a 3 attempt in the JV game at the end of a quarter, and she about made it with her left. I'm a huge advocate when I coach kids that I want them to be working with their lefts, and she's made progress that is well beyond someone who's been doing it for this basketball season.
And again, went to that. Coach Hubert just suggested it to her, said, hey, play with your left hand as Fangmeyer misses both free throws, and now we got a whistle, and we're going to have a tie-up, and it will be Lions ball. So what do you do, Jordan, when you're hurt? Well, you improvise, and she decided to become a left-handed player.
Yeah, a little shoulder trouble. You know, she had an opportunity for surgery, or she could go into rehab, and she just kind of chose to do rehab and play with it. So we're definitely pretty blessed to have her out there this season.
Here come the Lions. They've had a couple of possessions here, just down 4 as Culver's working hard against Laughlin. Can the board come down to blue? There's Reagan Craven. She came in off the bench, pulled down a board, chased it down, and then she was fouled. And that'll be the 4th team foul for the Lions.
Yeah, Reagan getting her first minutes for the night. She started the Arlington game, I believe, as just a sophomore. My wife Lindsay actually came to the game, and she's a little less involved, and she kind of really sung Reagan's praises about how smart of a player she was after watching her during the volleyball season. So
now, did Lindsay play a little hoops in her day?
She did. She actually almost went to Westland to play basketball.
Oh, we got to talk about that as there's a foul now on the floor. It's 14-10. A little point guard, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it might have been more of a slashing three. She said she couldn't shoot it, and I told her, it'd been pretty hard to go to college and play basketball if you can't shoot it. But yeah,
especially at Wesleyan, which is notorious for great shooting on both sides of the court. Jenny Kissinger, of course, was a tremendous All-American at Nebraska Wesleyan.
Well, that actually explains a lot.
You didn't know that, huh?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, even watching Cal in the freshman class, man, he just really scores the ball so well.
Yeah. And, of course, Kip Kissinger, great shooter there, all-time three-point leader. And now we've got Lindsay, who she's probably up there on the board as the first free throw falls down.
Well, she went to the University of Nebraska. She entered the sorority life. You know, college athletics isn't for everyone, but we've been in the gym playing sometimes, and she tries to come after me sometimes. She's all right.
Well, if she's not listening tonight, she missed a treat here. Got her whole history.
I don't think she is listening tonight, so this is kind of a waste of airspace.
Well, it's 16-10 as both those free throws are knocked down by the Big Blue, and then Laughlin's going to be called for a block. Back the other way, as that was Mira Fosmer, who was fouled, and I believe Laughlin gets called for the block, and she does. And so here come the Lions to inbounds right in front of the Blue Jay bench. They're working on the right side, and here's Culver, and the pass hits the rim, and Reagan Craven gets the steal. She'll look, and what will Laughlin do? They left her alone. Jada looks inside, make that Craven looks inside. This is Schefter, and Schefter is fouled. She was trying to work and put something up with her left hand, but they knocked her down, and so that will now be the 6th team foul, make that the 7th on the Lions. So she should be shooting a 1-on-1.
You know, how did that whole conversation, that odd conversation come up? You know, we're working on defining roles for these girls, especially as Olivia's out. I think it's really important to have a smart player like Reagan. I personally didn't notice that, but as a new perspective comes in, I mean, and Reagan is pretty heady. She gets a rebound there, good post entry. I really like what we're seeing from Reagan.
Yeah, she sees the game well. Of course, she is the daughter of a coach, as Kendra was the volleyball coach and went to a couple of state championships.
And obviously, Reagan on a volleyball court it's her second nature. She's unbelievable setter. Will be a college setter someday. So,
well, how's that for a line in your family? You know, Sage Craven, of course, just went up to Midland, and they played all the way to the national semifinals. And now you got Reagan coming up as well. So they know how to set in that Craven family.
Definitely. And you know Kendra's not giving Reagan a lot of props when she's on air because she's humble and she's aware. So I think it's important for us to sing her praises.
So hard to be a parent. And here come the Lions trying to get something set up as Aberg, who has been hot as a firecracker, hit a couple of threes in a row, but has not been able to get one off because Paige Comstock says, and look, Paige almost got the steal. And now a little ticky-tack foul on Paige Comstock.
I didn't see it. I don't know.
Now the official said that she kind of threw her shoulder, I guess, into the offensive player. So it was close. And so Louisville will inbounds. A 16 foul, by the way, on the Blue Jays. And here's the ball knocked out of bounds by the Big Blue. And that is Marley Glock who checked in the game.
Hey, another household volleyball name. Bryn obviously was such a great player, and Troy, her father, a great player from Wahoo.
Boy, great athlete. Back in the paint they go. Now we have a whistle and a foul. Glock, just a freshman, by the way. And as Barry Kitchell likes to say in the football broadcast, a true freshman. We have to remind Barry there's no red shirt in high school, but anyway, at the line.
I was taking a drink of pop, and you almost made me spit pop out.
Here's the free throw. It's up. It's good. It's now 17-11. Of course, Barry, my broadcast partner in football, who's one of the absolute very best, And Louisville, they just hang in there, don't they, Jordan? 17-11 the score with 1:25 to go first half.
Yeah, and those threes were huge. They've had 11 points in this quarter. Obviously, they want to get that going a little bit more, but how do you overcome a big deficit? You score one ball at a time.
And that is what they are doing. They're giving themselves a chance in this game. And now the Blue Jays will face pressure as they get it into Shaftor, and Shaftor has it knocked away, but then they said to do that they had to reach in. So Bree will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
It's not really too, and I could be completely wrong, it's not too often you see this many 1-and-1s in the first half, so this kind of speaks to a physical game. I think refs are doing a great job right now, but physical game so far.
Schefter 1 of 3 on the year from the line, make it 2 of 4. She hits that one to make it a 7-point Blue Jay lead. The junior will eye this one down. Let's see if she can go 2 for 2 here. A bit much, and the rebound is going to come down to Yardley. Here's a long pass. It's going to be stolen by Paige Comstock. Paige, then they reach in and foul her, so Paige should go to the line, and this should be a double bonus.
Paige, like we've kind of sung her praises already this year, but just kind of hammering home again. She's really getting it done on the defensive end. She's getting steals. She's being physical, guarding point guards on the other end, which is awesome because JC. Just a sophomore, JC's so skilled, so good on the offensive end. It's good to have a defensive leader as well.
And Comstock hits that free throw to make it 19-11. Yeah, great anticipation by Paige that time. The ball was a bit deflected, and she saw it quickly, tracked it down, made the interception, and she gets both free throws to make it 20-11. Lions, just over a minute to go. And now we got a whistle and a foul as Jenny Washburn's going to give us an update on the score. And I know the Huskers, George, just down by 1 point against Purdue. Don't know what time of the game it is and what the score is, but they're battling Purdue hard. So here at the line is Ella Culver. 9-point deficit for the Lions, and she'll miss that, and the rebound is tipped around and out of bounds off of, they're going to say it's off of the Lions. It'll be Blue Jay ball.
I'll tell you, the Lion faithful really believes that they're kind of getting the short end of the stick here. They're not super impressed with this reffing crew right now.
Well, that would be one I'd love to ask Paige, because I think that might have went off her left hand. But, you have something to work against you and have something to work for you. And so here they get it into Sheftor, down on the block. Bree has it stripped, stolen, but no, she's fouled. She's going to go to the line to shoot a couple.
Wouldn't life be a lot easier as refs if players couldn't lie and you could just genuinely ask them and they'd be honest with you?
Well, so you remember pickup basketball, after you get out of high school and college and you start playing and then you got to call your own calls.
Oh, yeah.
You learn a little bit about integrity in those games, don't you?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Sheftor hits that first one. And, you say, hey, you got me.
Yeah, I've got a whole philosophy on that. We play Wednesday nights here. Some of the community members do, and it's just my thing is just, I don't need to dive into the deep dive of that, but
I got to imagine you foul out most games, as I'm thinking.
It's the only way to play, Tim. All gas, no brakes.
44 seconds to go. Blue Jays up 10. Louisville run a little weave out front. Little crossover dribble here against Keith. Trying to make it happen here, get on that underneath the double digits, and there's a steal by Gertis, and she's fouled. And so the Blue Jays picking up some fouls and some free throws here late in the second quarter.
It was a big point of emphasis for Hubert after the last game. There was things he was obviously happy about, but one of the things he was pretty disappointed in was the free throw shooting because I know from watching his practices last year and this year, they really spend a lot of time not only shooting free throws, but shooting free throws under pressure.
So Gertis will get this opportunity here with her team up 10 with 27.9 to go first half. She looks at that rim, fires it up, and that is good as gold to make it 22-11.
It's just like as the Blue Jays work their way down their bench and they get into the rotations, even Bree here, just strong, physical. You know, you swap her out with Gertis, state high jump champion. Presley's tall. Emma's strong. Jada's strong. You know, just a lot of really good athletes for the Blue Jays.
Gertis now 3 of 4 on the year from the line. Here's a 3-ball the other way that went off the hands of Ella Culver. And so Blue Jays will get it again.
Louisville really locked into that three-pointer. They're going to shoot it and they're going to let it fly.
And I might have been calling Bree Schefter Gertis.
I tried to give you a subtle one, Tim. I need to be a little more up front.
I've confused them all day. Bree, my apologies. As Gertis just checked in the game. We got 7 seconds to go. Now this is Gertis off the glass, and Gertis will knock it home. And that'll take us into halftime. As a nice post up by Gertis. They found her. She knocks it home. And it is now 24-11, and Gertis is having such a great game that she's scoring even when she's on the bench, huh?
Yeah. I see the boys over here. They're getting excited. So something happened in the basketball game. That kid I got on screen there, Dawson Teese, he
you know what? I think it actually is the Nebraska game. They're watching.
Yeah.
They're watching.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
What happened?
56-56.
How much time left?
Any idea how much time? My goodness
Nebraska's
gracious.
playing some defense, holding Purdue down under 60, holding Creighton under 60.
You know what? Give them credit because, man alive, they did not look like it was going to be a great season to start this year, and they've just gotten better with that D every year. You know, they're uglying it up, but it's been good basketball.
Yeah, and, you know, offensively, they're sliding into their roles as well. We watched the first 5 or 6 games this year, and what up, Shai? Yeah, I don't know. It's fun to watch them kind of get in their roles as well. Talking Nebraska basketball right now. Suppose they're just about to win. So
it's a good game right now. I think we just tied it up with about 9 seconds left. Tominaga hit a 3, kind of.
Gosh,
you can
Tommy.
imagine PBA is going nuts right now.
It's rocking,
right?
that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, listen, speaking of rocking, just give me your quick assessment here on this first half. The girls up 24-11, looking good, looking for win number 1. I'm just curious from a coaching perspective, your thoughts on this first half.
Yeah, it looks like they've been able to kind of get the ball inside against Louisville and kind of get some easy ones going at the basket. I would assume that they continue to go to that in the second half, and then hopefully some of those outside jumpers start falling for them after they see a couple go through the net.
And I should introduce you. We were talking to Jordan Scheil. I don't know if we've got his mug on the camera here, Jordan, but, man, you know, he's so photogenic.
Get it right in your face there, Shai.
That's not a good.
There's nowhere to run.
That's not a good look for the camera.
Well, Jordan, listen, you guys had an absolute barn burner the other night, and it was a game that you kind of felt like you were in control of. And then credit Elkhorn. They take the lead and score with 8.8 seconds to go to take that 1-point lead, and you guys come back and score at the buzzer. First off, coming out of a game like that, how did the players respond, to practice? Did they come in lively? Did they come in tired? How did that one day of practice look for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a surreal thing, right? I mean, it seems like not too long ago we were seeing a shot go through at the net that was pretty important too. So it was cool that it was able to happen to a kid that works so hard. You know, Drake's he hounds guys on the defensive end, and you don't often see all of that come to fruition or whatever. But when he had his opportunity and as numbers called, he made the most of it. The kids, what's going to be really interesting is can we win that game but still learn from it and get better. So, you like to hope and think that, that shot doesn't go down. We're in a completely different mindset. But the kids responded well and were ready to go yesterday and didn't overlook anybody that's coming up. So,
I'm going to turn it over to Jordan here after this question, but I'm glad you mentioned Drake Zimmerman as hard as he works, because a lot of people don't know how much time he is putting in to all of, he goes to practice and sometimes he'll go and lift more weights, and he's working on speed training. He's gotten big and strong. And that, I told his father, that one shot was worth all that work he's put in, right? So talk about a little bit about his work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those dudes that you see all the stuff that he does on the football field, but then on the basketball court as well. And that's just a testament to all the work that he puts in the gym, in the weight room, and those speed workouts like you're talking about. So great kid, hardworking kid, and it was just awesome that it was able to happen to him.
Yeah, and so Jordan, I know you've got some questions
as
well.
Let's talk JV game for a little bit, or maybe even Elkhorn. This is a chance to talk Elkhorn as well as this one. Elkhorn, you guys ran into a good team right there. Fought super hard in the fourth quarter, played really well, didn't quite get it done. You've got a young team this year, 4 freshmen. 4 really skilled freshmen getting a lot of playing time for you guys. What have you seen from the JV team in the last couple games?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not necessarily important where we are right now, but where we can go. So like you alluded to, we got a lot of really young kids that have a lot of talent. And the cool thing is those kids, they have the talent, but they're also coachable. So, just continuing to get better game after game, practice after practice. They come to work, and that's really awesome. It makes coaching really fun to have a group of kids that want to be so good and come to practice with a good mental approach.
It has to be pretty fun, too. There's a pretty well-defined top 7, top 8. Not a lot of guys are mixing, matching, so varsity and JV. So you truly have a JV team this year that's pretty good. So that's got to be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. Like last year we had a couple of guys that were a couple quarters JV and then they go do their thing on varsity. This year we don't have that, and it's cool to see kids just really excel at that level because I know down the road it's going to pay for them. It's going to pay off at the varsity level for them. So it's pretty cool.
You talk about coaching being fun. I always am curious about the personalities of certain teams. What is the personality of this team this year, both at the varsity level and the JV level, if you were to describe that?
Well, I think what's cool about our kids is all the hard work that they put in outside. So, oftentimes you see, the attitude up front in the game, but what truly makes teams good is all that work that they put in, when there's nobody watching, when the lights aren't on, right? So it's a hardworking crew that, just wants to be good.
You got to love that. Let's talk about Louisville now. Going into tonight, what are we going to see? What do they like to do? What challenges are they going to present for you guys?
Typically they're going to run, like a ball screen offense. They might do some flex, things like that. So how are we going to maybe get them sped up is going to be something that we maybe look to do. And then just keep building on ourselves. I think at this point in the season, it's important what they do, but it's even more important just to keep working on ourselves and improving, getting better day after day. So I know that coming off of Elkhorn, we wish that we would have maybe finished around the basket a little better and really capitalized on those looks. So looking to just, work on us, get better finishing, take advantage of those looks that we get.
Well, Coach, you go and get ready for that one. And by the way, I think on the PA system, they're running the Husker.
I've got it on camera. I'm texting Valley to move his head.
Oh, this is fantastic. So the Huskers in a tight one. You can't beat it. We got basketball all over the place, Coach.
It's in the air.
It's in the air.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Coach Chow, thanks, buddy. Good luck tonight. All right, thanks for coming up. And we've got Mark Adell as he'll and Mark's or Jordan, by the way, that is awesome. You got the picture.
He's looking at his phone right now.
Oh, that's great. So, Mark, what do those numbers look like from the first half?
Me of little faith, I had tickets to that Husker game.
Oh, no.
But I'm here.
Yeah. Well, listen, you get to hear the last couple of minutes, it sounds like.
That's right. Anyway, we are not exactly lighting it up from the field, but we've gotten a lot of shots up. We're 7 of 21 for 33%. 1 of 7 from 3, 14%. We're 9 of 16 from the line, 56%. Now they have gotten just 10 attempts. They're 3 of 10 for 30%. 2 of 6 from 3. Ella Auberg, when she gets it going, can hit them for 33%. They're 3 of 5. They've shot just 5 free throws. And it took extra care to get the free throws right this time. I'd like to apologize to the fans Thursday night. I'm thinking as soon as I go out of there, Mark, how'd they get the ball for that last shot? A missed free throw. They didn't shoot any the second half, but I got caught up in the moment.
There you go. That's okay. You don't make many mistakes. That's a rarity.
On the boards, total rebounds are even 13 to 11, but we've got 8 offensive to just 1 for them. I'd like to see us do a little bit more as far as converting our offensive rebounds. But, when you've got more shot attempts than they do by quite a bit, you can be sure of 2 things. You've either got a lot more offensive rebounds or you've turned them over a lot more times than they've turned you over.
Yeah.
Well, that's the case here, too. We've turned them over 14 times to 6 for us.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to look for that. 14 to 6. Thank you, Mark. And let's get those Huskers in as well, huh? All right, Mark Adell with some numbers with us today. And Jordan, you got an update on that score?
Down 1 in OT, 3 minutes left. We got someone standing in our way right now. That's totally fine. We were double dipping with the game. I think he's trying to watch just as well as us, but 3 minutes left, down 1 right now. So
My goodness, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, we got 2 great games going on right now. The Ashland-Greenwood girls taking on Louisville. It's 24-11. The Blue Jays lead as they search for win number 1. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on highly ranked Purdue. And their 7-footer might even be 7'2", huh, Jordan?
yeah, in Purdue. That's kind of culturally what they do. They want to score from the inside. They want to have big guys.
And so
Yeah, we're hanging on an edge. We're hanging on. Or every single time we hear a noise, we think the Huskers are getting it done.
Yeah, well, folks, only in Nebraska do you pipe in a Nebraska Cornhusker basketball game here at halftime. But of course, if you're not familiar with Ashland-Greenwood, Cale Jacobson is on that Nebraska team. Of course, he was a terrific player for the Blue Jays for the last 4 years. And he's redshirting, I believe, this year.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he is on that team. He's on the bench. He travels. We see him on TV all the time. So there's a very special interest in the Nebraska Cornhuskers that go beyond just the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, and it's been really cool when we go down to games. I'm a huge Nebraska basketball fan, as weird as that sounds. But it's kind of cool for me and Tyler, or when Lindsay comes with me, we go down, talk to Cale, get to meet all the guys, talk to him. So Cale's kind of provided that avenue to have a little closer access to the team.
Well, here we go. We're underway for the third with the Blue Jays up 11, or make that 13. And it's going to be Emma Keith. We've got Lauren Gertis out there, Bree Scheftor, J.C. Fengmeyer, and Paige Comstock to start for the Big Blue. And Louisville in a little bit of trouble here against this man-to-man defense. And that is going to be Sagan Leach. She's going to dump it off to Culver. Culver looking, step through, misses the layup, and there is Keith on the board. So the Blue Jays wanted a fast start to this game, and I would assume Coach Hubert wants a fast start to this third quarter. As Comstock has it, now top of the key to Gertis. I've been confusing Gertis and Schefter all day. They both wear, this one saved nicely by J.C. Fengmeyer. What an effort there by the sophomore. Keeps it alive. I was looking at Bree Schefter, and I think she thought it was too late. Schefter for a 3, in and out. Rebound coming down here to Louisville. I thought that Bree that time thought the ball was already an over the back call. But the Blue Jays able to save it as Culver will work that left side. And there's a steal by Emma Keith. She's good, isn't she?
Yeah, last two possessions, 2 gritty plays from Keith, and she comes up with 2 loose balls.
So the Big Blue trying to get some points on the board here to get this third quarter going. As they get it down on the block, kick it out. Emma Keith is going to dribble drive with that right hand. And they'll reset. This Blue Jay team so patient, looking for that right opportunity. They've done a good job of it thus far today. As Schefter didn't like what she saw on the cutter. Here comes Gertis to dump it off up top, and now Coach Hubert doesn't like what they're running, so he says, hey, we're probably running a set here, Jordan?
He's a big philosophy guy, so they're 4-game, 4 out, 1 in. Here, JC's going to go ahead and take 3.
And she just about got the bingo, but the rebound coming down to Comstock. Good feed underneath to Gertis. She'll dump it back out to Paige. Blue Jays get another big offensive board on the Fengmeyer miss, but here is Fengmeyer going hard, and she has it knocked out of her hands and into the hands of Leach. And Leach in trouble in the backcourt. She dribbled it off her right foot, and it'll be Blue Jay ball.
Yeah, and to finish that thought, Hubert's going to a little more ball screen action, looking to get more touches from the inside, but in all honesty, when they went ball screen earlier, they got Gertis a couple really good looks, as well as the 4-game post touches. So, see if we can't get the camera down there on the Nebraska game.
I was just going to say,
Noah Valley.
We'll try to get you an update on the score if we can, as it's 24-11 here with the Blue Jays leading. Neither team has been able to get a score yet here to start this third quarter. They're trying their best to get that ball through the rim.
I see 50, 63, which isn't good because it was 57 Purdue. I can't quite see Nebraska 62. Looks like we're down 1 with 44 seconds left.
Well, I got to tell you, folks, there is no doubt there's a lot of interest in that game around this state and the way the Huskers are playing. And hopefully they can eke one out today in Lincoln, Nebraska.
I'm going to send the picture of that to Valley. He's running our score. That's his son, Noah, helping him out today.
Here's the entry pass. Turnaround Jay rolls around and falls for Harms, who's having a nice day today.
Yeah, Presley, really, really good player. It's fun to see her kind of become more comfortable and find that role for the Blue Jays.
They get it to Culver. Culver, high shot, or glass. Let's try that again. Shot high off the glass. It doesn't go, but Comstock's running. And Page will pull up, and they'll spin it around. Blue Jays with that 15-point lead. And here comes Fingmar. 3-ball, just a bit short, and tracking it down there is Fosmer. Great effort by Fosmer. Now here's Culver, bringing it up with her left hand. She turns the official look, wanting a foul, doesn't get one, passes it off to Fingmar. Fingmar layup, rolls and won't go, but JC will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws.
JC's continuing to get more and more comfortable as she goes throughout the season. JC missed her entire freshman year with a hip injury, got back really late in the season, but it's been fun to watch her grow and to continue to see her get better.
And her first free throw is just to the left of the rim. Yeah, JC has battled through some injuries, that hip injury that Jordan mentioned. And she came out here to start this season. The Blue Jays didn't shoot particularly well that first game, but, man, they've just gotten better every game, haven't they, with their shooting?
And they're going to continue to grow. You know, it's kind of, we've talked about it a couple times already today, but just December basketball versus February basketball right now, they're winning a lot of the athletic contests. They're going to continue to improve their skills, and they're going to get better and better.
And there is a bump on the way up the court. Let's see who they whistle this on. They're going to whistle this on Fangmeyer. And it is now 26-11. Blue Jays up. And let's see how many that's on JC. I think they put it up quickly on the board. So they get the pass in to the Lions. And this is Allie Hyatt, the freshman, who's getting some time. And here come the Blue Jays away with it. Coach Schubert calling out a set, I believe. There's Glock, another freshman in. Blue Jays will get into Comstock. Back to Marley. Oh, she wanted to take that jumper from the deep left corner. And Jordan, when they step back out, they're just resetting, right? A little motion offense here.
Yep, definitely.
And there's Glock on the floater in the paint.
Huge, great take from Marley. You know, you'd love to see her confidence get sky high. She's such a great athlete, good volleyball player as well. Blue Jays leading killer from the previous season, but love to see her confidence get higher and higher.
Here's Aberg. She's already got a couple, but not this time, as Keith will run with her left hand. Layup up, no good, but she got her own rebound, puts it up and scores, and Hannah feeling a little more comfortable with that right arm.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's a little painful for her to go up with it, but it's not impossible. So when she needs to, she's able to.
And here's a ball fake and a shot by Leach that won't go, and Harms will battle and get tied up between herself and Yardley. And by the way, I called Emma Hannah a second ago. That's her older sister.
I honestly didn't even catch it.
So my apologies to both of them, because Emma, of course, she's a junior. And Hannah had a terrific career here at Ashland-Greenwood and is off to college.
I'm playing softball at Mount Marty.
That's right. That's in South Dakota, right?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
So here come the Big Blue. Up 30-11. Their defense has been locked down today. They've settled for good shots, and here's a feed into Harms. Harms finds the corner to Comstock, who just loses the handle. It's like she was going to try to dribble drive against Hyatt, the freshman. Here's Harms again with a great post up. Look at her work. Left hand, I like it. Nice job by Harms.
Yeah, and with the left, too, that's not an easy shot. So really good job by Presley of getting that up and using her left.
Yeah, you got to be impressed with that. You played a little bit underneath, didn't you, in your day?
Yeah, contested shots are hard shots. Even with your dominant hand, it gets even harder with your left. And I mean, Blues are going to take a timeout right here, but even as a defender, there is no way to stop that, because it's shielded off with the body. It's honestly not a great shot, but if you can finish it at a high clip, that turns it into a great shot.
You know, there's no doubt about it. And Jordan, I think this is an important point. there's the effort on behalf of the girls, you know, Emma Keith and the rest, to use that left hand and learn how to use it and get comfortable with it is terrific. But let's also credit that coaching staff with saying, look, this is imperative to be the best player you know that you want to be. You've got to be able to use that left hand, not just to dribble, but also to shoot.
Yeah, it's kind of been a paradigm shift. You know, Coach Huber surrounded himself with a lot of people that are very invested in Sean Ross and also Reese Hogue. And they really are dedicated to getting the girls in there and spending time with them, whether it be through school avenues or through the Fremont D League. You know, these girls are playing more basketball than maybe some of the girls of the past have played. So, and with that comes an increase in skill, and with an increase in skill comes higher finishing percentages and more opportunities and less turnovers. So that's really Moses' whole MO, as being a really highly skilled team.
By the way, we talked about Terry Shelsta being the father of the head coach here of Louisville, but what we haven't talked about is Ella Aberg. She's the granddaughter of the great Gene Suhr, who was a terrific Hall of Fame high school coach at Papillion La Vista. May not have even been La Vista. It might have just been Papillion back in that day, but Coach Suhr won a lot of games, and his granddaughter, of course, terrific athlete on her part as well, having a good night with a couple of 3 balls tonight. And now we have a ball that's nearly thrown away. Who will come out of there with it? It'll be the Lions. And then a steal by Comstock. Comstock is going to go in from the right side, and it rolls around and will not fall. But Paige will go to the line to shoot a couple.
You know, I've always been pretty biased towards Paige. I had her older brother, Trey, coached me in basketball. He was one of my better golfers. So I've always enjoyed watching Paige play, but, you know, if I was to take a step away from those biases, I mean, the growth is so obvious with Paige. Gets a steal and absolutely flies down the other end. And she makes the first one. That's kind of what we talk about with skill. You know, she obviously played Fremont D League this summer as well as traveling team softball, but to get that steal and then to smash the gas, get down court, and then accept contact and almost get the and one, she definitely has gotten a lot better in this past offseason.
Will she go 4 of 4 today from the line? She does. She is as quiet as a church mouse, but she plays loudly on the floor, doesn't she?
Yeah, and that was kind of Trey too, just really, really brilliant, really, really smart, and then just soft-spoken, but just really, really good family, good kids.
What I love about what we just saw there a second ago, coaching staff, all 3 of them up on their feet. It's a 34-11 game, but they want to see this continued effort, Jordan, you know, throughout the entire game, and they are into it, even though it's a 23-point lead for the Big Blue. And here's a steal. This is Schefter, step through, got the bucket. It's 36-11.
And that's an extremely good move from Bree. Just a pump fake kind of step through, doesn't let it cross over, lets the defender cross over on her body. That's a huge sign of growth from Bree, because that's a hard thing to teach and a hard thing to execute.
And Glock reaches in, the freshman, will get her first foul. Blue Jays with 2 team fouls here in the second half. 36-11. And the Blue Jays have just been very workmanlike today. Put the hard hats on and getting after it. And here's a 3-ball put up by Aberg that will not connect. And the rebound coming and running the other way of the Big Blue. We're down to 1:15 to go here, third quarter. As Reagan Craven spinning around to the right side. And again, what I love, what I'm hearing here, Jordan, both of these staffs, they are getting after it. They're still coaching their hearts out, and you got to love that.
Yeah, and both coaches are relatively young in their coaching career at Ashland and Louisville, so you know, these minutes are important. You talk about culture. You know, how you handle yourself in the third quarter of a 20-point game. That is truly a definition, or one aspect of culture. Are you giving up, or is it what we do? Do we fight hard all the time?
And after the turnover, the Lions will bring it up. Coach Hubert continuing to pressure here. And here comes Culver coming up the court and dribbles the ball. I think it went off her foot. It might have gone off of Laughlin's. Either way, it went out of bounds. And it will now be Blue Jay ball. We're under 45 seconds to go in the third. And they'll get it down on the block here. This is going to be Gertis. She had a nice step through, but put up an errant shot, and coming down out of it there is Yardley. Crossover dribble. They look, kick it out. This is going to be Leach with a little floater that won't fall, and the rebound coming down here to Stein. And so she checks in the game for the Blue Jays, does Ellie Stein. And you heard the coach yell out, what are we doing defense? He wants to make sure they stay sharp here on this inbounds. Lions down with the ball with 16 seconds to go in the third. Here's Leach, pull up from 15. And a rebound down to Harms. Give her another one. 5 seconds. Gertis has a wide open Reagan Craven underneath the bucket, and the Blue Jays put it through for a 38-11 lead. Going into the fourth quarter, that was a great look by Gertis.
All right, I have a question. I've been sitting on this for about a quarter. I said that Marley Glock was the leading killer on the volleyball team. I know that's not the proper way to say that. How do you phrase someone?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That almost sounds like a movie.
Yeah,
when you
no.
use that term.
She
led the team in kills, is what I think what you would say. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, literally, as leading killer left my mouth, I was like, I probably better walk that one back eventually.
Yeah, you know, for some reason that didn't just resonate in my headset. It probably should have. But you're right. That sounds something out of Hollywood versus a volleyball game.
Yeah, and and shout out to these girls for being multi-sport athletes.
Yes.
That's a huge thing for these girls. I know, like Reagan and Marley were two, and Presley were, and Gertis were all great volleyball players. Keith had a good role in the volleyball team, so it's good to see these girls out here competing across multiple sports.
Well, you talk about great athletes here. Blue Jays actually just shut out Louisville in this third quarter. It was at halftime 24-11. Going into the fourth quarter, it's 38-11. So the Blue Jays with a good quarter offensively with 14. But then to shut them out, Jordan, that doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, and where does the team make that jump, make that difference? It's coming out of halftime in the third quarter. So Blue Jays played really well in the first, held them low. Second quarter, Louisville got a little loose offensively, but in that third quarter, that's where great teams make that jump, and that's exactly what the Blue Jays did.
So Stein will start this fourth quarter. She's in there with Laughlin, Craven, Harms, and Gertis. And Louisville will have in there Aberg as well as Bateman. She's going to start the fourth quarter. She's joined by Fosmer and Sagan Leach. And here come the Blue Jays trying to make something happen here to get the quarter started. And this will be Craven. Bingo! Deep left corner. 41-11.
Yeah, huge shout out to Reagan Craven. Shoots a lot better than her cousin Tyler Craven. But good shot there, good action, good kick out three. I had to toss that one in there.
You bet you did. And they answer with their own bingo by Ella Aberg.
And that's exactly how they got hot in the second quarter, was Aberg getting out and getting some shots off drive, kickouts, guard-to-guard rotation three. So Louisville getting going a little bit too.
41-14. Well, it's a three contest as Laughlin will launch one up and connect. It's 44-14.
And she shot it really well in the JV game versus Wahoo, and that was something new this year, kind of another sign of growth. Laughlin feel more comfortable shooting threes.
There's Gertis on a board. He's going to dribble out of there and look for some help. 6:40 to go. Blue Jays up 30. Laughlin again. Can she connect? Bingo! As Jada is feeling it, and it's 47-14.
Yeah, and that makes me sound really good when Jada comes down and hits two back-to-back. But that was a joke, but all jokes aside, that was not a part of Jada's game last year at all, to shoot the three. She was literally a track star on a basketball court. She worked on her game. She played AAU basketball this summer, and, I mean, that's the fourth three I've seen her hit this year so far, and I did not see her hit one last year at all.
And, Jordan, how about this? The Blue Jays have hit 3 buckets in the fourth quarter. They've all been three-pointers. So I know that's an area that they really want to improve. In the first half, they were just 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. But in this quarter alone, They are 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and so that's going to help those numbers.
Yeah, not to bring up previous games, but against Arlington, I think that the three-point numbers Coach Hooper was pretty sad about. I'm going to say sad because I think it was like 3 for 21, and
you're right. 2 for 21. Yeah.
2 for 21, and he talked about how much time they've dedicated. I know in my casual conversation with him, he's asking about creating shooters. So the three is such an important part of the game of basketball today across all levels. So it's good to see the girls find some success shooting them.
And they're getting some scoring today. 47 points thus far with 6.5 minutes to go. And that has been a little bit of a bugaboo for this Blue Jay squad, is putting the ball through the rim. But tonight, they're lighting it up with 47. And here we go. They get it down on the block to Fosmer. She's going to find Leach, and Leach bangs it off the board to make it 47-16.
Good little right-hand drive, kind of a running float shot off the bank, but really good.
They get it into Craven, who's on the block. She takes a little too tight of an angle, but got it right back, and can Reagan get it? She does. It's 49-16.
And that's the value of Jada's shooting. She goes into a pump fake, draws some attention, and then has the opportunity to hit Reagan on the inside, but good battle from Reagan.
So back the other way, and here's a good dribble penetration by Leach, and she's fouled on the way to the hole. And coming in the game now is the freshman Glock. Out will come Paige Comstock. And Louisville will take it out underneath their own bucket. I never did hear a final on the Nebraska game. I don't know if – I'm assuming we did not win.
Yeah,
the place would have gone crazy.
In this situation, no news is bad news, but it's good to see the boys hang around a little bit.
And here's a steal. Great defense by Gertis. And we have a travel on the way up the court, but Lauren Gertis did an awesome job defending that time. McKenna McCauley, and knocked it away, got the steal, and really almost set up something special.
Yeah, and huge shout out to Gertis. She kept her cool during that. There was someone sitting on her head. She obviously wasn't very happy about that, but she just kind of shook it off and kept playing.
All right, here come the Lions. What can they get going here with 5.5 to go? Here's a good bounce pass inside. McCauley worked down in the corner. And that time the pass just a bit too high as she was looking for Yardley. Harms in the game. And out will come Gertis.
Talk about athletes. Presley Harms, a 6 foot tall, is got a tough decision ahead of her. Does she go to college to play volleyball, or does she go to college to run the 100 meter? So, Blue Jays have some pieces to work with, and they're just going to continue to find those roles.
Wow. I mean, to have those options, that's enviable, isn't it?
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Now, wait a minute. You were an All-American at Hastings College as a tight end.
Yeah.
That doesn't just happen. Here's Stein. And she can't get it to go, but there's a rebound by Laughlin. She's fighting hard for it. It's loose. Harms to Stein, who gives it up quickly to Glock. Good entry pass is just tipped away by Culver. But Stein with a good look. That was a smart play.
Yeah, Ellie Stein, great kid. Love to see her shoot that shot right there. Getting some really awesome JV minutes this season, but I think the coaching staff is excited to get her in some varsity minutes and see how she handles herself.
She is the niece of Greg Timlin. And Jordan, you wouldn't know Greg. He graduated a few years back, but he's done phenomenal work. He's a physician out in California. And this nearly stolen, and was just a tremendous athlete himself. Here comes Ellie Stein right on cue. Ellie, come on, Ellie. Oh, no. As it's going to hang on the back of the rim. And we're going to pause here a little bit because Culver is hurt. She's coming out here for Louisville. And Coach Shelsta goes and gets her and helps her off the court. So how's this work, Mr. Official?
Jump ball.
It's a jump ball. All right. So that is, it's a hard one to if you asked her to do that another 100 times, she couldn't do it, could she?
You see it get stuck up there a lot more, but it's kind of the same philosophy. I was watching something once, a game, and it was like a really important free throw. And it was like to tie the game when late in the fourth quarter and the ball got stuck on top of the rim after spinning around a couple times. Definitely will provide a little anxiety.
Well, hopefully her uncle was watching that back in California, because I think she got robbed that time. That deserved to go down for Ellie Stein. But here's a steal by Laughlin. And the big blue coming the other way is Stein with a ball fake. Good bounce pass down the block to Harms. They'll play a little catch on that left side. Can Laughlin loft it? Nope. They'll be patient. Good ball movement. I've been impressed with their ball movement all game. Here it comes Laughlin for another three. No, Stein can't get the board, but the ball nearly goes out of bounds off Louisville, and it does. It'll be a big blue ball. So the ball movement's been terrific.
Yeah. So, they're doing a lot of things that post-oriented teams do. They're being patient, waiting for a great shot. They're moving the ball, trying to break down Louisville's rotations and create post opportunities. Really inside, dedicated scoring, which is essentially what they're doing. Is they're doing a lot of things that inside-oriented teams do. So, and that's really, really good to see, and it's honestly good coaching.
So it'll be Louisville ball with 3:15 to go here in regulation, 49-16. Here's a good entry feed. The ball stripped away by Laughlin. Great quick hands by Jada. And she will bounce past to Stein on the block. Stein, great look to Harms. It was stolen though, but that's a really astute look that time by Stein as she saw Harms cutting down the middle.
Yeah, and I think a really underrated thing for teams that want to score on the inside is post-to-post passing, or in that situation it would have been short corner to post passing. Really challenging concept. The Louisville boys have gotten really, really good at that, but even that right there, Ellie's a sophomore, fighting for varsity minutes, but you can tell that at practice they're doing a lot of those drills that will lead to that, because that was a great find from Ellie.
And there's a reach, I think, on Glock. So the Blue Jays, they're very close to picking up win number one. We won't call it yet. It's not official, but with the 33-point lead, it looks inevitable that the Blue Jays will get to their first win. And boy, is that going to make this team and Coach Hubert real pleased. As the Lions are working out top, this is Hyatt. Gets it off to the left side, and they'll play a little catch as Glock comes out there to meet her. And Hyatt with the drive but a miss. Stein with the board. And can Reagan track that down? I don't believe so. It will be Louisville ball. And don't forget, Jordan, we're going to keep you working here. After this game, we'll take maybe a brief break, and then we'll have the Louisville boys and Ashland-Greenwood boys and the Blue Jays coming off that thrilling win the other night.
Yeah, that was exciting. The heart rate was definitely going. I probably had 5 or 6 people ask me if I was going to have a heart attack. I don't know how many times I referenced the pace of my heartbeat, but yeah, how do you come back? How do you get up for a game after you win a buzzer beater against a really top-tier team? I guess we'll find out.
That's right. Very short turnaround for the Blue Jays. And there's an over and back call by the official as Leach didn't quite wait. She needed to wait a half a second to make sure that Aber got across that midcourt stripe. Didn't quite do so. So it will be Blue Jay ball with 2 minutes to go. But yeah, that'll be the big storyline here tonight. And by the way, Elkhorn turned around after losing to the Blue Jays and beat a good Norris team the very next night. They had to come right back and play.
Yeah, and it's just that's B. You go Waverly, Bennington, Norris. Like, I don't care who's on the team. I don't care who the head coach is. I don't care if they're up, if they're down. Those 4 teams are going to put out great products. And B's a war. B's a gauntlet. There's no down years in B for teams. There's only up years and average years.
So that may turn out to be a really, really, really big win for the Blue Jays and power points and all of that. But Reagan Craven with a beautiful spin move gets in the paint, throws it up off the glass, but it hit the side of the backboard, and tracking it down is Leach with 1:15 to go in regulation. Good crowd coming in here, too, for the Big Blue. As this is Hyatt, who's getting some nice time off the bench, and Allie Hyatt's played some basketball as a freshman.
That's always really exciting to get in the game as an underclassman in those varsity minutes. Obviously, sometimes you're just surviving and sometimes you're thriving, but I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun to score as an underclassman.
Look at Laughlin go with the left hand. Glock wanted to take that one, but Hyatt came out quickly on her. We're under 40 seconds to go. Laughlin, bingo, another 3 for Jada.
Yeah, I'm like kind of going to double down on my statement, triple down. I mean, she just looks like she wants to shoot, and You know, she's a qualifier in the state track in the hurdles, 100 and 200. You know, she's a really good athlete. If she can shoot it well all year, that's her role. She's going to be hard to keep off the court.
Knocked down 3 threes in this fourth quarter. Now a whistle and a push from behind. I think this might be on Reagan. Let's see. It is. They're going to call Reagan on that one. Her second. 13.6 to go. 52-20. The Blue Jays will improve to 1-2 on the season. And this is Aberg. First free throw falls. First of the night. Jordan, I looked to make sure I knew who the Blue Jays were playing after this game, and I cannot remember.
Conestoga.
They go Conestoga, that's right. Boy-girl doubleheader. Or is it's Tuesday night, is it not? The second free throw up, no good?
That's a great question. It'd be really easy. One thing I didn't realize is that I have internet access on my computer, and I could just look it up on the sketch. You know, all these times we sweat and we lose stuff and we scramble on our phones, and it's just like we can just do it on the computer.
I've got a phone, too, I can do that with. But that's it. The Blue Jays fight hard, and they get their first win of the season, a 52-21 win over the Louisville Lions. And I know Coach Schubert, who we will have, by the way, on at halftime of the second game, is going to be pleased with that one. 52-21 win.
Yeah, you know, just overall, oops, I got something weird on the screen right now. All right, overall, you know, just I was looking up the schedule and I realized I was posting that to the webpage. All right, well, no, just overall, the Blue Jays took care of business. Did a lot of really good things. They shot the ball well. They played confident. They scored from the inside. You don't ever want to tab anything a complete win. You know, that's not a good thing from a coaching and a growth mindset standpoint. But of all the games they've played so far, I think that's one that Coach Schubert's going to feel is the closest to complete that they've had yet.
Yeah, without a doubt. Great point there. And it was done with defense. Jordan, they shut out Louisville in that third quarter, held them. Actually, they had 2 quarters where they shut them out, the first and the third. And I got to imagine he's going to be thrilled with that kind of effort.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, Dave's an old school guy. You know, I like the way that Dave thinks. He wants to score from the inside. He wants to have great possessions, and he wants to play great defense. It's a little bit different than the new age philosophy of run and gun and shoot and score and do all that. So the way that the Lady Jays played today is right up Dave's alley. So I think he's going to be a little happier camper than he was last time.
Well, we would sure love to get a couple of the players up here. However, I don't know how it's going to work. Coach Hubert's got to do his post-game talk with the girls, and a
lot of times I travel into the boys' locker room, and obviously that's not going to happen with this. We may not have a way to communicate with them.
That's right. So I just, if people are asking, hey, you know, we do it for the boys, not the girls. Trust me, we'd like to get it done, and we'll continue to work throughout the season to see if we can't make something like that happen.
Maybe at halftime.
Yeah,
maybe it's a
that's right. He could bring up
meeting
Coach Hubert.
afterwards.
There you go.
We could maybe talk to 1 or 2 of them.
You bet. So we hope to have them at halftime. We'll have Coach Hubert, and we're hoping to have a couple of players. So, you know, Jordan, give me your final thoughts here on this game. The Blue Jays, pull away 52-21, and your thoughts on this Blue Jay victory.
You know, the basketball season is a marathon, not a sprint, and that's, while that's a cliche, that's a very true cliche. It's very fitting of a 4-month, 5-month season. So you know, the girls obviously are ready to find success, and they just haven't quite put one together. Not against Arlington, not against Wahoo, and it was really good to kind of see them put one together and show what they're capable of, scoring from the inside, hitting threes on the outside, really playing defense with their athletes. And so I think that if you're the girls, you're the girls coaching staff, you're really excited about what you saw tonight. Yeah,
well, for sure. And I know that Coach Hubert, he wanted this win for them. He told me before the game, Jordan, he said, I was so happy with the way we took that step forward against Wahoo. And clearly they took yet another step forward. And before long, they're going to be a lot healthier, too, when Olivia Pike comes back.
Yeah, and it looks like, I was talking with her dad a little bit, and it looks like the boys aren't out. 20-minute horn sounded, and the boys aren't out.
Don't have them out here. They're having a little extra talk in the locker room, it looks like, huh?
Whatever works. But, I talked to her dad, and it looks like it's not as serious as it was initially thought, and she's going to be back within a couple of weeks. So it's exciting.
That is very exciting. Well, here comes Mark.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
in,
you bet.
in the
You
locker
take a
room.
break.
I'm gonna go in the locker room and holler at Mose, make sure he knows his 20 minutes started.
You got it, buddy. You do that, and Mark will we'll put the headset here on you. And why don't you let us know when you get an opportunity how this breaks down for the Blue Jays 52-21 victory here, Mark.
Well, they played pretty well the second half, actually. It got a little ragged the fourth quarter because we substituted freely, which you do in a game like this, but especially third quarter, they played pretty well. We actually, from the field, if you can believe this, we were 11 of 21 from the field the second half. 18 of 42 from the game for 43%. From three, these numbers don't leap out at you particularly. 5 of 16 for 31%, but at the end, and Jada Laughlin, because we could use more three-point shooters for sure, and she was 3 of 4 in the second half. We were 5 of 16 for the game for 31%. From the free throw line, 11 of 20, 55%. Now again, a lot fewer attempts for Louisville, 7 of 23 from the field for 30%. And 3 of 10 from three for 30%. Auburn hit all their threes. She was 3 of 7 for the game.
Okay.
And our coaches, both boys and girls, seemed to do a good job for the most part of not fouling very much. Just 7 free throw attempts, they made 4, 57%. On the boards, showed that they were a small team, Louisville. We out-rebounded them 25-16. Offensive rebounds, 12-1. Which equates to a lot of extra possessions, and we had 42 shots to their 23, as well as we turned them over 28 times to 15 for us. So we'll see. I hope the boys can pick up a win after that thrilling Elkhorn game last Thursday.
Here we go. We're coming right back at it, aren't we, Mark?
You betcha.
All right, Mark Cadell, thank you so much. And, folks, we're going to shut down here for about 10 minutes. We'll be back on in about 9 minutes to go before, or make that 8 minutes to go before tip-off, so that is about 9 minutes.
Yeah, and we'll keep the stream on. We're just going to mute it, so just if you're streaming right now, just feel free to keep it open.
Perfect. We'll see you in a few minutes.